Hi there. In this lecture we see Abrosimov against Mikhail Tal, 1959, Riga. So this is e4 from Abrosimov. Tal plays the Sicilian defense, knight f3, e6. We get to see actually Tal playing the can variation, so of e6 and a6. The can variation. So knight c3, this gives priority to this bishop. It has some extra options which might be useful. Queen c7, bishop e3, knight f6. a3, b5, so still keeping the options open for this bishop. Bishop d3, knight c6, knight takes c6, d takes. White castles, and now e5. h3. It seems this is a little bit of a passive move. There might actually be a way to play this position for a small edge, which is a4. The reason is, if b4, that does weaken c4, and white has a nice positional move here, it seems, which is knight b1, to try and hop back and make use of c4. If there is a downside of black's position, yeah, the bishop would have to go back on knight g4, but if there is a downside of black position, it could be in this variation where white tries to get the c4 square, and this should be pleasant enough for white. If we look at this again, if rook b8, then h3 here, fine, and then maybe even f4. White should have an edge here as well. But the way it's played with h3 immediately here is maybe not optimal. Bishop d6 is played. Against the a4 plan, I think it's worth pointing out bishop e6 is quite relevant against a4. But Tal played bishop d6. It might be considered an inaccuracy. It seems bishop e6 on a4, b4. The thing is here, any knight b1, we can play for c5, c4, this plan, or even c4 here, with equality. And, if the knight, went back to b1, then c5 just in time for c4. And then we can even play bishop c5 in one go, celebrating the can priority bishop. So, this situation is a nice advantage for black. So yeah, it is interesting. Bishop e6 could actually end up basically giving this bishop c5 if c5, c4 in some lines. But with bishop d6, okay, bishop d6 is played, knight e2. Again, white misses the chance for a4, because again, this is still kind of relevant for trying to get some control over the position, extra control over key squares. But knight e2 is played. Tal castles, knight g3, bishop e6. Queen e2, knight d7, rook ad1, rook fd8, knight f5. The bishop is nicely tucked away on f8 now. Bishop g5, f6. The bishop goes to c1, knight c5, and it looks as though this is pleasant enough for black. And maybe white's in a little bit of a panic here because of possibilities, perhaps considering possibilities like this and this at some point. And this looks like a bit of a panic. f4. It doesn't factor in the brutality of forcing moves and forcing move variations, where replies are basically severely limited. And there's kind of signs, like if you're like pins are a big sign, pin and win. You know that expression, pin and win? Tal basically makes use of that expression with this mini combination here. So for 100 points, how can you pin and win in this position? Okay, there's no grand plans here. It's all tactics, tactics, tactics. Tactics win games. Check out my tactics course if you haven't already. It's okay, so bishop takes f5. Yeah, forcing move. And now, what's the point? Okay, the point is e4. It forces a very, very nasty pin on white. The bishop's got nowhere to go apart from take, really. And now this nasty pin, it is very, very bad news for white. We see rook d4. That's very awkward. Guess what Tal plays here, which is completely winning, basically. Okay, for 50 points. If you want to pause the video. It's actually just undermining the position for white, that pin is further kind of exposed here with rook d8. So white resigned, because if rook fd1, then we just take on d4, and actually here we put even more pressure on the pinned piece. Can you see how we can put more pressure on the pinned piece here? Key move, queen e7, yeah. So even if the bishop moves now, we're going to win material. You know, bishop d2, we're just going to take here. Otherwise, we're just going to take on e2 if the bishop moves. And win material. So yeah, it can be that simple sometimes if you spot the correct forcing moves. So after this rook d8 in particular, if rook d1, if on rook ad8, so we mentioned, you know, rook fd1, we just take it, then queen e7, but also maybe worth pointing out is, you know, rook takes d8, queen takes, and that pin is raw. There's no bishop d5, there's no backfire because the queen's protecting the rook. You know, sometimes you've got to watch out for a backfire against the pinned piece, but there's no such backfire here. We can simply just take with the pawn. So, you know, bishop d3 would just take the queen. The other thing here, if rook d1, then can you see what black can play pretty safely? Well, rook takes e4 is simple and strong, and then we can just take on e2. So yes, a simple case, it seems, not checking the forcing moves at one's peril. And this is definitely a concern. If ever there's a situation with a pin, the expression pin and win is pretty relevant to test. Does it actually win this kind of pin? It does here, it seems. Okay, chess is brutal. Chess is 99% tactics, according to Teichmann. Tal is a very, very tactical player, and not just king attacks. Okay, he can play tactics to win material as well. Thanks very much. Hi there. Thanks for getting to the end of the YouTube video. If you would like to see other Mikhail Tal games, I actually have an amazing course for Mikhail Tal, which is currently at 4.9 with over 400 students. You can check this out from the Kingscrusher TV page. So chess strategy and tactics, Mikhail Tal's amazing games. You can check out some free preview videos as well here. If you do expand all sections, you can see the preview links to get some free previews. So I hope you do check out this course index and the free previews. So I really had a thrilling time actually checking out Mikhail Tal's games. So yeah, the YouTube video here you saw was just a sample from this course. I hope you check it out. Okay, thanks so much. Oh, by the way, comments, questions, likes, shares, all appreciated. And if you did get to this, you know, part of the video, please do leave some sort of comment like Tal fan. Okay, thanks again.